Namaskar. Welcome all the learners to this session of sacred groves, one of the most important topics in our syllabus on Indian knowledge system. Sacred groves are important because these are ancient practices of the Indians which still continue without break or changes. I am Professor Nandini Sinha Kapoor, a professor in the School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies in Indira Gandhi National Open University, and right now I am the school director. Sacred groves can be defined as undisturbed patches of vegetation on the outskirts of villages and towns, or in the plains, or a part of forested areas that are dedicated to local folk deities, that is, gods and goddesses, and ancestral spirits. They are fine examples of in situ conservation. They vary in size between 0.5 to 500 hectares. Their existence depends upon the social traditions and taboos incorporating spiritual and ecological values which prevent their destruction. These groves represent an invaluable gene pool, conserve the biodiversity, and are found all over the country under different names. Sacred groves provide various ecosystem services such as biodiversity, medicinal plants, regulating services, and the range of functions carried out by ecosystems. It also serves as a repository for biodiversity. These pristine patches of forests have been instrumental in saving many vanishing species that might otherwise have been destroyed. The entire ecosystem helps in soil and water conservation, apart from preserving biological wealth. They are a dependable source of water for organisms living in and around the sacred groves. Hunting, logging, and other developmental activities are strictly prohibited within the sacred groves. Besides, the sacred groves serve to maintain the precious age old religious and cultural practices, beliefs, and customs that might otherwise have been lost in this era of globalization and mass culture. Hence, the sacred groves are very important or providing ecological services to mankind. India has an ancient tradition of conserving nature that goes right back to the pre-Vedic age. This tradition probably can be traced further back in time to food gathering societies, that is our Paleolithic age, पूरा पाषाण युग जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं, who venerated nature and natural resources on which they depended for their existence. Our rich literary heritage, consisting of the Puranas and epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, have celebrated varied flora and fauna of the subcontinent. Its magnificent forests, rivers, mountains, and various other manifestations of nature with which the subcontinent, that is India, is blessed. Vedic literature is full of description of grandeur and beauty of India's forests. Aranyakas are in a series of Vedic texts. They are named after the forests which provided their authors with a home and inspiration. A good part of the epic Ramayana is set in Dandakaranya forest, which was known for its scenic splendor. These have been beautifully chronicled by great poets like Kamban and Kalidasa. Pandavas spent a good part of period of their exile in the forests, which has been vividly described in the Mahabharata. Our ancestors were aware of the symbiotic relationship between the biophysical ecosystem and socio-economic institutions and the strong cultural relation that bind them. It is believed that the sacred groves originated after the introduction of the practice of agriculture and are found in almost all parts of India. Now, practice of agriculture goes back to Neolithic revolution or Neolithic age, new stone age, when we started and discovered and we practiced the beginnings of agriculture. They can be described as a mini ecosystem containing a rich repository of nature's unique biodiversity. Ancient religious beliefs and traditions, which have been handed down through thousands of generations, have played an unique role in the preservation of these mini ecosystems. Many sacred groves constitute pristine vegetation and are rich in vegetation and associate groups of organisms. A few species found in the sacred groves are also important keystone species, which maintain biodiversity of the grove. In many cases, they represent the remnant near natural vegetation. They are also an important refuge for rare and endangered medicinal plants, which is very important to note. In addition, transpiration from sacred groves increases atmospheric humidity and reduces temperature in the immediate vicinity and produces a favorable microclimate for several organisms. Soil erosion is prevented because of water retention capacity and soil binding nature of trees. The root mat prevents nutrients from leaching out. They also play an important role in soil and water conservation and are often the only source of water for many animals and birds. The sacred groves vary immensely in size. Some contain only a few trees, while others are hundreds of acres in size. Some form part of large forested areas. The sacred groves are closely linked to the local communities and various endogamous groups. For example, in India alone, groups are associated with almost 40,000 endogamous groups within the Hindu caste system. In any case, preservation of these groves has been found to be strongly linked to caste and religious groupings supported by traditional religious and social beliefs. This has helped to preserve them in a relatively undisturbed state. What has helped us? That is our spiritual and religious beliefs and age old practices and traditions. They also help to define the cultural identity of the communities that protect them. They are also closely linked with politics and economies of these communities, and that is why sacred groves are still being preserved. In the majority of the cases, management of these groves is associated with separate caste groups by a village as a whole or by a clan. In India, the sacred groves are still in the process of being documented. There are 13,270 sacred groves that are found to be intact. The details you will be reading because this study material is going to come. The total area under the sacred groves in India has been estimated to 33,000 hectares, which comes to 0.01% of the total area of the country. Types of sacred groves. Local village and sacred groves which are managed by entire village. Regional sacred groves which are managed by a temple trust and which are visited by people from several other parts such as Sabarimala Sacred Grove at Kanzikuzi, Alappuzha district, Kerala. Pan-Indian sacred groves, which are large and are managed by a temple trust, where again people from many parts of the country visit and worship the god or the goddess, such as in the Garhwal Himalayas. Sacred groves as the abode of ancestral spirits, which are both a burial ground and location of deity and ancestor worship. So we can see we have listed four types of sacred groves. Here, this and the next slide, these are total number of sacred groves so far documented district-wise and state-wise. For example, Andhra Pradesh, 677 sacred groves which have been listed in a total of 13 districts. So, such as you can always go through these two tables. Sacred groves and their status in different states of India. We will take up most of these states, but depending on the time, we will be looking at them, and you can in any case read through entire text of this. The sacred groves are known by different nomenclature in various parts of the country. Around 13,270 groves have been reported from all over India. Some of the important areas where the survey is being conducted like Chhattisgarh, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan, Bihar, Mizoram, Nagaland and Himachal Pradesh. Now let us take up some states. although I have given almost all the states where it has been documented. In Arunachal Pradesh, a few of these sacred groves managed by the Lamas and Mompa tribe are attached to the Buddhist monasteries, and they are called Gompa forest areas. A total of 65 sacred groves have been documented so far. These sacred groves are dedicated to local deities or gods such as Ubro or Ubram and Thaugyu. These monasteries with sacred groves are mainly located in West Kameng and Tawan district of the state of Arunachal Pradesh. Assam. Forest dwelling tribes such as Boro and Rabha inhabiting the plains and foothills of western Assam have the tradition of maintaining sacred groves which are locally called Than. The Masa tribes of North Kachar Hills in Haflong district of Assam call the sacred groves Madaiko. A total of 40 sacred groves have been documented so far in Assam, and the details are here, such as giant bamboo, pear bamboo, pink banana, metico paper are among the well-preserved fauna. Here is the map of India with distribution of sacred groves. You should look at it very closely, the total numbers. Andhra Pradesh, sacred groves in Andhra Pradesh are known as Pavitra Vanams. Many of us can understand Pavitra means sacred, Vanam means forest. A total number of 730 sacred groves have been documented till date. These Pavitra Vanams or sacred groves are dedicated to various local deities and to Hindu gods and goddesses. Some of them are dedicated to Shiva, Hanuman, Saraswati, Gangamma, Nagadevata, among others. So, from eastern and northeastern India, we have covered Andhra Pradesh. Now we are going to westernmost state Gujarat. Sacred groves are seen throughout Gujarat, having varied forms, cultural practices, and belief systems. They are locally known as sacred groves and are called Oran Mata or Sadai Peer. A total of 42 sacred groves have been documented so far. Kodiyar Mata, Oran Mata, these are the deities to whom the sacred groves are dedicated, and there are always small shrines of these gods and goddesses. Vegetation in groves is highly varied, like mangroves, freshwater swamps, and other tropical forest types, and I have given another list of mango, neem, etc. Chhattisgarh. Now come to central India. The sacred groves are locally known as Mata Gudi, Dev Gudi and Gaon Devi, a total of Gaon Devi, that is the Devi of the village. A total of 600 sacred groves have been found in Chotanagpur region of this state. Some of the species commonly found are Indian gooseberry, Bedanat, Indian laurel, Indian frankincense tree, black myrobalan, kudapa almond, Indian butter tree, among others. The community rituals are often synchronized with the blossoming of flowers of forest trees and different agricultural operations. Haryana is unlike many other states, there is no generic name, special separate name for sacred groves, although the sites are protected for similar reasons. There is a lack of data regarding the number of sacred groves as far as state of Haryana is concerned. Khetanath, Jairam Das, Shiv, Balasundari, Nau Gaja and Manigoga Pir are some of the deities to which these sacred groves or protected patches of forest are dedicated. Let's go to the Himalayas again. Himachal Pradesh, the local myths and legends associated with sacred groves go a long way in preserving forests from destruction. There are several groves dedicated to a particular deity called Devban or Devta ka Jangal, where one is not allowed to cut trees or even carry dry leaves outside the area. Jammu and Kashmir, our northernmost state, sacred groves are present all over Jammu and Kashmir, managed by religious bodies or management committees. The local names of groves are known as Banis. A total of 76 sacred groves have been documented so far. Baba Rauchi Ram, Bua Sawati Ji, Bua Dati Ji, Lord Hanuman, Mata Vaishno Devi, Peer Baba and Raja Mandalik Ji. In fact, one can make a detailed socio-historical studies and ecological, anthropological studies of the sacred groves in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, again, I am taking you to eastern India, Jharkhand. The tribals of Jharkhand worship their sacred groves known as saranas. A total of 29 sacred groves have been documented so far. A sarana is a cluster of trees where the Adivasis would worship on various occasions. Karnataka, the most notable community conserved areas of Karnataka are the sacred groves. They vary in terms of size, ownership patterns, and also with respect to vegetation. The groves in the state broadly come under two classes: smaller groves or kans, or larger groves or debarakadu or debarkan. Kerala, the sacred groves in Kerala, locally known as Ayappan Kabu or Sastham Kabu, Bhagavathi Kabu or Amman Kabu, Banadevata and Chima. A new species or a leguminous climber. This is a very interesting. Please note that not only old species, but in case of Kerala, we have detected a new species of leguminous climber, Kunstelaria Keralanis, which is a botanical name, has been reported from one of the sacred groves of Kerala. Madhya Pradesh, let's come back to central India, is one of the tribal dominated states in central India. A large number of plants are conserved in the sacred groves commonly known as Devgudi. Madhya Pradesh, there are about 101 sacred groves. Barsung, Patkhanda, Gannama, Mahadev, Mandarin Mata, Dandeshwari Mata are some of the deities to whom the sacred groves in Madhya Pradesh are dedicated. Maharashtra, Western India, sacred groves are found in tribal as well as non-tribal areas too. The sacred groves in the western part are called Debrai or Debrahati, whereas in the eastern part of Maharashtra, Madhya tribals call it Devgudi. A total of 2,820 sacred groves have been documented in Maharashtra. The following species are commonly found in sacred groves of Maharashtra: Portia tree, Casuarina, silk cotton tree, Indian laurel, etc., Japanese ginger. Now, again, I take you to northeastern India, Manipur and Meghalaya before I take you to a detailed study of bhils in conservation in Mewar. The worshipping and protection of forests, called Umanglai because of their associated deities, are still practiced by modern Manipuris, preserving the ancient tradition till date. These groves are locally known as Gangkhaf or Mahak. Meghalaya, the sacred groves in Meghalaya are known as Law Lindo or Law Niam and Law Kaintang, depending on the places where they are located. A total number of 101 sacred groves have been documented so far in Meghalaya. Mizoram, for the Mizos, the sacredness of the plant is a reflection of the unity of life in nature and generates a sense of communion with the divine as the center and source of life. Let us come to eastern coast, Odisha. The institution of sacred groves in the state is recognized by various names as Jahera Thakurnama. Around 169 sacred groves have been reported from Odisha. Pondicherry or Puducherry. The sacred groves in Puducherry are locally known as Kovil, Kadugal or Ayappan Kavu. Around 123 patches of sacred grove varying in size from 0.2 to 5 hectare around temples have been identified in the Union Territory of Puducherry. Tamil Nadu, almost every village has a sacred grove. These groves range in size from 1 acre to 500 acres. The sacred groves in Tamil Nadu are known as Koilkadu, Swami Thopu or Swami Sholai. The deities associated with groves are Ayanar, Swasta, which you will in any case be reading. Punjab, Chatpat Nathji and Chatpat Bani are the deities to whom sacred groves are dedicated. Sacred groves in Punjab have species of native trees along with thick understory vegetation comprising of several medicinal plants, herbs and grasses. Sikkim, sacred groves in Sikkim are attached to Buddhist monasteries. They are called Gumpa forest areas and are managed by lamas. The commonly found plants are turnip root, sharbil, Himalayan cedar, sanjivani, Indian barberry, Himalayan firethorn, among others. Uttar Pradesh, sacred groves are locally known as Devban or Ban in Uttar Pradesh. West Bengal, sacred groves are known as Gramthan, Haritan, Sabatritan, Jahera, Diutasara, Maumon, among others. Total of 505 sacred groves have been so far reported from West Bengal. Now, I am coming to Rajasthan because I am going to give you a detailed study of the Bhil tribes in conservation and how the government of Rajasthan has been supporting it. Sacred groves are found all over Rajasthan and are called by various names as Bani in Mewar, Kenkri in Ajmer, Oran in Jodhpur, Bikaner and Jaisalmer. The commonly found plant species are Kutch tree, Indian mesquite, Mukul, Maida tree, Salvia, leaved crossberry, Indian tree of heaven, Neem, Indian plum, banyan and people. The tradition in Rajasthan is an ideal example of the support of tradition for ecosystem services. Now I take you to my research which has been published on wheels in conservations. We can skip the first 2-3 uh, slides which have to do with the concept of ecological ethnicity, because it is the community which is connected to that particular sacred grove. It can be defined in the concept of ecological ethnicity. You read it. The concept of ecological ethnicity includes peasants and other ecosystem people, such as fisher folk and tribals, forest dwellers, nomadic shepherds, and host of people otherwise marginalized by the developmental projects. The concept of ecological ethnicity captured the fact that the practices of rural people of this Indian subcontinent, who are heavily dependent for their livelihood and survival on their immediate environment. Now let's come to southern Rajasthan case study. Mewar are located near the village and close to a water source. Such as groves are also at the top of small hillocks in the Aravalli mountain range, where people worship Bheruji Babasi and Mataji. Khan Pa, Bhedji, Kukavas, Bheruji and Badi Rupam Mata are example of such sites in Udaipur. Here is a very good book by Pankaj Jain, Dharma and Ecology of Hindu Communities. These sites have different forms of Hindu deities such as Hanuman, Durga and Shiva. The presence of temples in these groves has protected their trees. People do not harm sacred groves mainly because of their traditions, believing that those who cut or axe in a sacred grove may be harmed by the presiding deity. These beliefs might have strongly influenced the conservation of sacred groves. Continuous community protection of sacred groves has resulted in several large trees. For example, there is a large tree of Churail growing in Amarkaji sacred grove. This is the largest tree of this species in India. Only fallen and ripe fruits are collected from the grove, and the wood from mature trees is used only in religious rituals. Another sacred grove near Udaipur is called Ubeshwar Mahadev, with a temple dedicated to Shiva. Since it is situated near a water stream, it also serves as a watering and resting place. The cow dung collected from the nearby cattle is allowed to dry, and the dried dung cakes are used to cook bati. We all know the famous traditional Rajasthani dal bati churma by villagers and pilgrims. The arrangement ensures the sanctity of the grove and provides ample stock of food. Sacred groves also provide meeting place for the community to discuss socio-economic issues and to resolve their personal grievances. Temple forests are managed and maintained to serve the temple. These may include religious, economic and social functions. Temple forests are managed to meet the requirement of the temples that in turn support the social functions. Similarly, Srinathi temple near Udaipur has a sacred grove located in Gautameshwar forest block. The temple management does not derive authority from the state forest regulations and protects its grove against grazing, fire and illicit felling. You can see Prabhakar Joshi's book Ethnobotany of Primitive Tribes in Rajasthan, published 1995. Pautikoda is a site at the Beth Forest block near Mewara. The most common trees here are Bibitaki, Arjun, and Gamkaraya. Among these arboreal species, several herbs, shrubs, and vines form a dense mat. In this grove, there is a natural water source. Here, the fieldwork has been undertaken by Pankaj Jain and documented in his book Dharma and Ecology. Sacred groves and governmental support today. This is important for you to note how the government of Rajasthan is involved in preserving these sacred groves and the support it gives to the community. There are two trees known as Indian Kalpavriksh that are present at about 3 miles from Banswara city in the Anand Sagar near Mahi river. Bhils call these trees Kalpadevata or Kalpadev, and they are declared as national monuments by the Indian government. The government of India, beyond, that is Ministry of Environment, beyond the government of Rajasthan, has given it a recognition of national importance. Of the pair, the larger one, 20 feet high, is designated as Rani. Very interesting. The larger one is Rani, and the smaller one, 14 feet high tree, that is designated as Raja or King. Apparently, another tree nearby was submerged in the Mahi river a few years ago. The Bhils have immense faith in these trees, and travelers always have a darshan of the trees. People desirous of having any wishes fulfilled circumambulate both the trees, keeping their wishes in mind, contemplating a return in order to perform yagna, the fire sacrificial ritual, as a token of gratitude. By the number of such rituals being performed, it appears that the wishes of several Bhils have been fulfilled. What does it mean? It means the popularity of Kalpabriksha and Kalpadevta are really growing day by day because a large number of pilgrims, especially the Bhils, are coming. It shows that their prayers have been answered. The age of these trees may be over 500 years according to a local forest officer. Similarly, Mahua is also considered sacred by the Bhils. A program called Aravalli Devan Sanrakshan Abhiyan was launched in 1992. This included protection of groves, planting of indigenous species, soil and water conservation, and participatory approach to restoration. And some of the restored groves include Moria Ka Khuna, Jambeshwari, Amarkaji, you have the list in front of you. Another major government managed environmental project which is based on the religiosity of Bhils is Sita Mata Wildlife Sanctuary, located 30 miles from Chittorgarh and 60 miles from Udaipur. What is interesting, besides important trees like teak, there are fauna, animal wealth like leopard, hyena, jackal, fox, jungle cat, etc., which is very, very interesting. So, we are also conserving rare animals within these sacred groves. Bhils of about 50 villages around the Sita Mata sanctuary make use of these plants as means of primary health care to cure various ailments. So, there are lot of medicinal plants. This study revealed the new ethnobotanical uses of 24 plant, right? So, this is very important. Now, there is a new ritual of sprinkling saffron, Kesar Chanta, which has helped protect several areas of forest in southern Rajasthan, is a popular method of conserving sacred groves. People collect saffron from a nearby temple and sprinkle it collectively around the natural forest patch. Here are some of the visuals. It is the Udaipur district map. Some of the natural vegetations, rocky areas, Aravallis. Hanuman temple inside a wheel sacred grove. The staircase going down this Hanumanji temple, which is in the middle of a sacred grove. Durga Mata temple inside a wheel sacred grove. Valmiki Ashram signboard. Temple at Bhotia Amba. These are some of the important references, and I have listed my works also. You can see Nandini Sinha Kapoor, Bills in Conservation. It is already published. This is, and you can read Pankaj Jain's book, which I have already given the references inside the content, the text that just now I presented to you. And there are 5 questions for your assignments. Thank you so much for your patient hearing and all the best. You enjoy this course, Introduction to Indian Knowledge System, which Government of India has made it a compulsory part of National Education Policy NEP 2020.